Hey, what up, y'all? Mr. Cruz here, the littest teacher you never had, back with another video. Today's video is going to be all about randomizing your velocity. This video kind of came about because I was on a Zoom call with another friend of mine who uses Reason, and we were kind of venting to each other, complaining about the Reason update because I had asked him, hey, you going to upgrade yours to 11 anytime soon? So we were just kind of complaining about some features that Reason didn't have. And one of the things he said was like, yeah, you know, FL has this cool feature where you can randomize your velocity. I wish that Reason had something like that, but Reason actually does. It's just kind of tucked away into a hidden menu. And I want to show you guys that right now, how you can randomize your velocity in Reason. All right, so first up, I've got this beat here. We're really going to pay attention to the hi-hats because the hi-hats are what we're going to randomize our velocity on today. All right, so check it out. All right, again, the hi-hats are what we're going to be focusing on. And from the looks of it, you can kind of tell there's not really that much dynamic range. You have the high parts that are, it seems like they're on the triplets when it hits a triplet pattern, and then the low parts are everything else where it just hits a 1/8 pattern. So we're going to randomize this, and in order to do that, we need to hit function 8 or F8. And boom, we get our tool window. So our tool window is really what we're going to be focusing on. This is kind of where that menu or that option is kind of hidden under the note velocity tab. And then you have this button right here that says random, and you can kind of apply that. But you also have these other cool features that I want to go over with you guys, because the add function and the scale function are also included in the randomize. So randomize or the random function is tied to your scale settings and your add settings. So for starters, the add function will literally, it kind of does exactly what it says it's going to do. So let me highlight these notes right here. So every one of these hi-hats in the third bar, and I see that they're at 62 right now. So their value is 62. If I hit add, actually let's put a positive value here. If I hit add 30, it's going to add 30 to 62, which will give me 92. Boom. Yo, you know what? This is going to be great because like I get to marry the two, like me as a teacher, as a math teacher, and then me as a music producer. So this is going to be fun. So yeah, you get to add 30 to 62, and then you get 92. So bam. And as you kind of saw there earlier, you can put minus 32, and then you'll end up with 60. Boom, right? So you can put negative values on there too to kind of take away, because even though it says add, if you add a negative number, that's essentially subtracting. So next one is fixed, and fixed does, all right, let me pick these over here. So these, when I highlight all these, you get this little button next to your velocity. You kind of get it next to a couple of other things, but it says match value. So that means that it'll match all of the notes that you have highlighted. It'll match the velocity to match the highest velocity that you have selected. So in this case, because it's 80, if I hit it, it's going to bring all of them up to 80. Up to 80 or down to 80, I forget what it is. I think it's just it does the average. Is it the average or the mean? Or does the range? The range. So it takes whatever is the middle between all of them. Median. There we go. Dang. And I'm a math teacher. Yo, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. But mean, median, that's stuff that they know that stuff by the time they get to me. I teach them stuff that's a little bit more complex. So I kind of forgot about that. All right. So yeah, it'll apply the median to every single one of the values that you have there. So fixed, if let's say it's 80, let's say I thought 80 is not loud enough, let's bring them up to 9, or let's bring them up to 105. So now I hit apply, and then it brings all of them up to 105. So that's kind of a cool thing to do. And the next one is scale. All right, scale is my favorite. I'm actually going to, let's do this. Boom, boom. All right, I'm going to try to, this is going to be super tricky. Give me a second here, because I want you guys to be able to see my face All right. So that should be good. You guys should be able to see my face there. All right, sorry, you guys should be able to see the calculator because my face is in front of it. So to understand what factor or what scale does, scale is short for scale factor. What we're going to do is, what you're pretty much going to be doing is you're going to be multiplying this number, this percent. And again, when you multiply a percent, you have to turn that percent into a decimal first. We're going to multiply this percent by whatever value we have highlighted. So let's say if we're going to do it with these right here and they're at 80. So I'm going to multiply 80 times 120. Actually, no, let's do 55. And you don't have to put the percent at the end. So I'm going to just leave it as 55. Actually, no, we'll put the 55% there because I want you guys to visualize. I want you guys to see it. All right. That's kind of a math thing that I do. Like, this is how you're going to see it. This is that, you know. So 55%. So I'm going to multiply 80 times 55%. I can't just multiply 80 times 55 because that's going to give me a value that's way too high, and it's just not going to be right. So I have to turn 55% into a decimal, which would be, I would do the booty bump. So there's an invisible decimal right over here, and I'm going to move that decimal to the left 2 times. So I'm going to bump it over 2 times. And when you bump it over, it kind of makes like a W, so it kind of looks like a butt cheek. So again, that was 80. So I'm going to do 80, and instead of multiplying it by 55, I'm going to multiply it by 0.55 or 0.55. And when I hit equal, I get 44. So that means if I apply a scale factor of 55% to these notes right here that have a velocity of 80, I'm going to end up with a velocity of 44. Your boy, look, I'm smarter than I look, okay? So there you go. So you can kind of apply. So, all right, well, here's the other thing. Let's say I wanted to apply a value of 155%. So I want to take those same ones, and I'm going to do 44 times 155 as a decimal would be 1.55. So when I apply that, I get 68. Well, I get 68.2, but I think it's going to round it down so it'll stay at 68. Yeah. So 68%. So what you see there is that when you apply a scale factor that's bigger than 100%, you're going to get, it's going to increase the value. It's going to increase the velocity. If you multiply it by, if you apply a scale factor that's less than 100%, it's going to lower the velocity. Reason being, right, if I had 68 times 100%, but again, you got to do the booty bump, that would literally be 68 times 1. And as we all know, any number times 1 is always going to equal itself. So there you go. That's my math lesson for today. That one's for free. All right, just make sure you get your homework in by the end of the week, because if not, I'm calling your mom. Last one, random. So now we get to random, and this is kind of where it gets really complicated. And forgive me for not being able to put it in layman terms, but I combed through the manual, and the manual literally dedicates 2 sentences to this, and they are not all that helpful. But here's what I do know, is that the reason random is so off the wall, let's take this one for example. So let's say this one has a value of 127. I'm going to change that to 100 just for the sake of ease. So it says that my random is set to 20%. You would think that if I hit apply, it's either going to take that value up to 120 or it's going to take it down to 180, because that would be the difference of applying a 20% chance or 20% change into 100. But when I hit it, I get 85. The reason being is because random is tied to the scale value, and it's also tied to your add value. So just take that into account. One of the things that you kind of could do is, if you want less dynamic range, if you want more dynamic range, I would put a very high add value, and I would put a very low scale factor. So I would put a scale factor of, let's say, 20%. Or I'm sorry, a scale factor that's less than 100%. So now when I hit apply random, oh wait, that's only got one selected. I should get dynamic range all over the place. All right. So I kind of see that like the more that I press it, the more random it gets. And like I have a whole bunch of highs and a whole bunch of lows. So let's see what that sounds like now. All right, so I kind of think it sounds pretty good. But that's kind of how randomization works. And of course, you can play around with the percentage, but mathematically to come up with an equation for it, it's way outside of my league because you're taking two percentages into account and also applying an integer that could be positive or negative. But anyways, that's what I got for you guys today. So hopefully that's something that's cool and helpful to you guys, especially if you've always wanted this feature. If you've had envy over FL Studio guys because they have a feature to be able to randomize velocity, just know that you can. It's just tucked away into the tool menu. Outside of that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out in the comments below. I've got a MIDI pack for you guys to use. I have it on sale currently for a discounted price of $7. But if you click the link in the description for that, there's also a free version for you guys to download that I believe has like 4 MIDI loops. And it also has the audio files to go along with those MIDI loops for you guys to use. But that's just my gift to you guys because I got nothing but love for you guys. Outside of that, leave a comment in the description below if this is something that you do use or that you would use, or if you even knew that this feature existed in Reason. It's your boy, Mr. Cruz, out.